Neville Goddard, Your Faith is Your Fortune, Interval of Time, chapter 15. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. John 14, 1 through 3. Oh, I loved it. I love we're finally here. In my Father's house. This is my Father's house. This is my Father. I am God. Your awareness of being. In my Father's house are many mansions. Many self-concepts. All throughout my Father's house. Many mansions. All of them are self-concepts. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. The me, capital M, capital E, the me in whom you must believe is your consciousness. The I am, it is God. It is also the Father's house, containing within itself all conceivable states of consciousness. Father's house, I am, all conceivable states of consciousness are within. Every conditioned state of consciousness is called a mansion. This conversation takes place within yourself. Listen to that statement. This conversation we're having right now is taking place within yourself. Your I am, the unconditioned consciousness, is the Christ Jesus speaking to the conditioned self, or John Smith consciousness. I am John. From a mystical point of view, is two beings, namely Christ and John. Now, listen to that. You can really never be alone. If you say, I am John, that is two, Christ and John. So I go to prepare a place for you, moving from your present state of consciousness into that state desired. I go to prepare a place for you into that state desired. I go to prepare a place for you from your present state of consciousness into that state of consciousness that is desired. I am single, not happy, unmarried. I want to be married. I want to be happy. I want to be in a relationship. I go to prepare a place for you. It is a promise by your Christ or awareness of being to your present conception of yourself that you will leave your present consciousness and appropriate another. Listen to the words here. It is a promise, because when you say and you claim and you shall decree, I am happily married, you become involved with a promise just by stating that it will become. When you state it, you're basically tying yourself to a contract, and it will become. There's no reason to doubt. Remember, doubt equals evil. That is where evil dwells, is in doubt. When you doubt, that is the opposite of everything we're talking about. Doubt is the biggest thing to get rid of. It's not the easiest, but it's the biggest thing, because it is the opposite of all of this conviction attitude, all of the staking the claim. Doubt is the opposite. And we can't go without giving it some time to understand what it really is. It is a habit. It can be a habit. It can be something learned. It can also be programming. It can be a lot of sources that help support that. But you must realize sooner or later that doubt is what you want to get rid of. Like a little child, like children, they don't seem to have a doubt when they go out to play. Or you ever see them get near a swimming pool, they just jump in. There's no doubt anything. There is no doubt at all. There is just play. There's just go. That's how we must be. We seem to have forgotten this attitude or this fun nature. But doubt is the opposite of conviction. Doubt is the opposite of staking your claim. I am that I am. Doubt has no room here. Doubt should be out here, away from you. Nothing is accomplished with doubt. So doubt has to go. We'll give some more time to it as we come across these concepts of sneaking it in, but we have to give it some attention because it really can be the deflator of all of your wishes, your hopes. Doubt is the worst. It can be a habit too. And a habit can be like a law, and you want to just cut it out. It is a promise by your Christ or awareness of being to your present conception of yourself that you will leave your present consciousness and appropriate another. I am happily married. Man is such a slave to time that if after he has appropriated a state of consciousness, which is not now seen by the world and it, the appropriated state, does not immediately embody itself. Let me repeat the sentence, try and clean it up here. It's a very long sentence, so I didn't even read it right. Let me go again. Man is such a slave to time that if after he has appropriated a state of consciousness which is not now seen by the world and it, the appropriated state does not immediately embody itself. He loses faith in his unseen claim. Forthwith, he drops it and returns to his former static state of being. As I mentioned with doubt, this is what's going on here. If you stake the claim, you're involved with the promise, and it is going to become, but if you see nothing here and you give up, so to say, then you fall back into this. You look back like Lot's wife, and you become preserved by like with salt on the meat, for instance, preserved and static. Because of this limitation of man, I have found it very helpful to employ a specified interval of time in making this journey into a prepared mansion. Wait but a little while. We have all categorized the different days of the week, months of the year, and seasons. By this I mean you and I have said time and again why today feels just like Sunday, or Monday, or Saturday. We have also said in the middle of summer why this feels and looks like the fall of the year. This is positive proof that you and I have definite feelings associated with these different days, months, and seasons of the year. Because of this association, we can at any time consciously dwell in that day or season which we have selected. Do not selfishly define this interval in days and hours because you are anxious to receive it, but simply remain in the conviction that it is done. Time, being purely relative, should be eliminated entirely, and your desire will be fulfilled. Time, it's a very difficult subject, but it's very simple. And if I can draw a quick example, this is going to be a very short commercial for an upcoming video. But time, you have your now, you have the supposed concept of future, and you have your supposed concept of past. Nothing exists in these two bubbles, let's just call them bubbles for fun, unless it happens here. So in here, let's say this is you. I'm going to give you my artistic self. Let's say this is you, and the attitude you have right now is one of pure happiness. So when you think of your potential future, you put that attitude right in there. When you think of your past, all you can think of is wonderful, happy times. Because right now, in your now, you are this. In your present, if you were to take it another direction and not be this, but let's say you were in your present moment, all of a sudden you were broken up and you were not having fun relationships and you were feeling down. I'm not having fun. I'm single. I'm broken up. We just broke up. This isn't great. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Remember, first, you're going to be still and know that I am God. You're going to slow yourself down. You're going to breathe. You're going to meditate. But understand about the concept of time, that in your present moment, if you are feeling in the dumps, negative, sad, depressed, lonely, then you're making that same cast of an image to your future and to your past. Those don't exist except from where you are now. The only moment that matters is your now. Your now is where the moment of creation is actually happening. It's not happening in the future. It's not when I get my degree, I will then, or when I get the right relationship, I will then be happy. No. Or I'm not having fun here because in the past this happened. And this is a big one. This is a big one. Who of us has not been challenged at this one time or another? I mean, come on. Or have had both these thoughts. But the new awareness is what we're trying to awaken here is the idea that your now creates that past and that future. And we don't want these kind of nows. We want this kind of now. It sounds simple, and there is a lot. There's a lot to unwrap when your emotions are heavily invested, especially when you're breaking up, or you're in it, or you're just past the breakup, and you want to be back together, or you want to be in a new situation. You have to realize you're only in a now, and what are you doing in that now, and what are you dwelling on? Remembering that the only one that exists in reality is the only one you can prove. The only one you can prove is the one you're actually in. Okay, so the one you can prove is literally the one you're actually in. And you fight against all odds as you may, or fight against the evidence in front of you, you must continue to have an optimistic spirit. It will get better. Be still and know that I am God. I am. Feel that floating feeling and start to see that end result where you are happily in that relationship. You're coming back into your house from your honeymoon, etc. Do not selfishly define this interval in days and hours because you are anxious to receive it, but simply remain in the conviction that it is done. Time, being purely relative, should be eliminated entirely, and your desire will be fulfilled. This ability to dwell at any point in time permits us to employ time in our travel into the desired mansion. Now I, consciousness in parentheses, now I go to a point in time and there prepare a place. If I go to such a point in time and prepare a place, I shall return to this point in time where I have left. And I shall pick up and take you with me into that place which I have prepared, that where I am, there ye may also be. I, consciousness, go to a point in time and there prepare a place. I, consciousness, go to a point in time. Time is this whole line is time. This whole line is time, and they exist in one moment. I go to a place in time. It doesn't matter where that. If you are claiming I am that, then consciousness goes to prepare a place. This becomes objectified. This is subjective. This is inside, this is external reality. Consciousness goes to prepare this place because you are setting the impression upon your current self-concept, and you are becoming the new self-concept. That's the preparing of the place. Consciousness is doing that. Let me give you an example of this travel. Suppose you had an intense desire. Like most men who are enslaved by time, you might feel that you could not possibly realize so large a desire on a limited interval. But admitting that all things are possible to God, believing God to be the me within you, or your consciousness of being, you can say, as John, I can do nothing, but since all things are possible to God, and God I know to be my consciousness of being, I can realize my desire in a little while. You're giving yourself permission. How my desire will be realized, I do not, as John, know. But by the very law of my being, I do know that it shall be. You've already been doing it so many times in your life already, and in consistently doing it now, you have to give yourself the credit for arriving, because you've arrived where you are now, specifically from another self-concept. If you were not in a relationship, you got in a relationship, and then you broke up and you want to be in another one, you got to this one at least from here. And you have to realize the credit where credit's due. You're doing it already all the time. Here you're not eating a pizza. Here you're eating a pizza. It has to be playful and fun. It has to be playful and fun. What is it? To enter the kingdom of heaven, you must enter unto as a child. With this belief firmly established, decide what would be a relative rational interval of time in which such a desire could be realized. Again, let me remind you not to shorten the interval of time because you are anxious to receive your desire. Make it a natural interval. No one can give you the time interval. Nobody out here can give you the time interval. How soon will I be in a relationship again? Nobody outside of you can give you that time interval. Only you can say what the natural interval would be to you. The interval of time is relative. That is, no two individuals would give the same measurement of time for the realization of their desire. Time is ever conditioned by man's conception of himself. Confidence in yourself, as determined by conditioned consciousness, always shortens the interval of time. Ooh, what a sentence. Time is ever conditioned by man's conception of himself. Confidence in yourself, I am that. Confidence in yourself, as determined by conditioned consciousness, right there, always shortens the interval of time. With conviction, I am that. Boom. With conviction, shortens the interval of time. If you were accustomed to great accomplishments, you would give yourself a much shorter interval, accustomed, in which to accomplish your desire, that the man schooled in defeat. Now that's very, very true. Let's repeat that sentence. If you were accustomed to great accomplishments, you would give yourself a much greater, my mind was on the subject of, it flashed a memory of sports figures, someone like Michael Jordan doing these long jump shots where he jumped and slam dunked the ball up. And someone who's in the practice of doing that amazing thing he did on the court with seeming literal, almost totally easy, what he did in his professional career as a basketball player. Unbelievable. That short interval of thought for him is like, oh, I'm going to slam dunk that. It isn't, how long is it going to take me to warm up, and then maybe I can jump from this line or this line. No, this guy would jump from very, very far away, and I don't know exactly how far, but that just flashed in my memory because of how simple he made it look. And to that confident self he displayed, how much time do you think it would take for him to believe he could slam again from such a distance as he did so naturally? If you were accustomed to great accomplishments, you would give yourself a much shorter interval in which to accomplish your desire than the man schooled in defeat. We all are good. We all are pure. We all are consciousness. We all are accustomed to great accomplishments because simply we all are already doing it. We're already wonderful at these great accomplishments called our reality. It doesn't matter if you're not having the pizza and you want one. It doesn't matter if you're the robber, the crook, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. It doesn't matter where you are. You already are creating. You're already accustomed to great accomplishments because you are here. Credit where credit is due. You are already doing this. So I would say you already are accustomed to great accomplishments. If today were Wednesday and you decided that it would be quite possible for your desire to embody a new realization of yourself by Sunday, then Sunday becomes the point in time that you would visit. You would visit it now. Because knowing on Wednesday, Sundays, it's going to be done, then you would visit Sunday on your Wednesday. To make this visit, you shut out Wednesday and let in Sunday. You shut it out. Now you are on Sunday. This is accomplished by simply feeling that it is Sunday. Begin to hear the church bells. Begin to feel the quietness of the day and all that Sunday means to you. Actually feel that it is Sunday. When this is accomplished, feel the joy of having received that which on Wednesday was but a desire. Feel the complete thrill of having received it. Yes, it's already Sunday. It's Sunday. And then return to Wednesday, the point in time you left behind you. In doing this, you created a vacuum in consciousness by moving from Wednesday to Sunday. I don't think I've ever heard him say that one before. A vacuum in consciousness. But I have another picture I'll put up in a minute if we go down that road. Nature, abhorring vacuums, rushes in to fill it, thereby fashioning a mold in the likeness of that which you potentially create, namely the joy of having realized your defined desire. Nature, abhorring vacuum, rushes in to fill it, thereby fashioning a mold in the likeness of that which you potentially create, namely the joy of having realized your defined desire. Nature abhorring a vacuum means you went to Sunday here, you became here Sunday. Nature doesn't like a vacuum. When you come back from that creation, since the vacuums don't exist in nature, that reality came back with you. That new reality is now. It's on your Wednesday. Another way to put this, make sure I keep my spot. Another way to put this is in this example we had before about present, past, and future. You have the present moment. Okay, let's just call that PM. You have the past, the supposed past. We know it doesn't exist. And we have the supposed future. We know it doesn't exist. It's only now, present moment. When you are fantasizing about something, there's only now. This is the only moment that exists now, period. When you are fantasizing about something to be soon that's going to come it's going to come to you in your future, then you're absent here because you're here. Now, this isn't the same as his example, but I want to make a point first. When you are in the present moment dwelling over here in your past, you're also absent here. The thing is, when you learn to stop dwelling here in these two places, let's say you're dwelling on the future after you get your degree, after you get your relationship, after you this, after that, after the job, after the new pay, after all these new things in the future, after you stop dwelling there and start living with conviction in your now, you realize what was left. You were not present. You were not present. You were always somewhere else. So when you come back, when you try to come back, you realize you have nothing to show for. You have nothing to show for the absence. Your creations were absent because you were absent. You weren't creating in your now with your new claim, I am that. You were absent from impressing yourself. The same thing of dwelling on the past. Oh, the past, this certain thing happened and I wish to all heaven it didn't happen. You're absent here, so you're absent with impressing a new expression. You aren't staking the claim because you're absent from your present in this moment, which is the only one you have. You're actually not present because you're dwelling. Actually, you're not. There's no such thing as dwelling on the past. There's only a such thing as creating a past. You're only ever creating from this moment. You're only ever creating from this moment. And this creates the future, and this creates the past. So what happens is when you're not present in the moment because you're thinking of the future, or you're not present in the past because you're thinking of the past, you're actually in creation of something else than what you're experiencing. You're absent in your present moment. You're absent in your present because you're busy dwelling on creating these two other places or one other place. When actually your power is expressed in the present when you realize I am. Because I am is where you impress your current self-concept to express your new self-concept. But that has to be from a point of power, which is right now. Not later, not before. You have to be focused on your now, in your now, to help express and impress. I am that. I am happily married. Okay. When this is accomplished, I might be repeating, feel the joy of having received that which on Wednesday was but a desire. Feel the complete thrill of having received it and then return to Wednesday, the point in time you left behind you. In doing this, you created a vacuum in consciousness by moving from Wednesday to Sunday. In a sense, you were using that concept right there. Nature, abhorring vacuums, rushes in to fill it, thereby fashioning a mold in the likeness of that which you potentially create, namely the joy of having realized your defined desire. You were here, it was Wednesday. You were here, it's Sunday. You put yourself here and realize what you wanted to have come true. I am that. Then when you woke up in the morning and you realize it's Wednesday, you brought back that creation. You brought back the impression, and you're involved with creating the expression of it. As you return to Wednesday, you will be filled with a joyful expectancy because you have established the consciousness of that which must take place the following Sunday. As you walk through the interval of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, nothing disturbs you regardless of conditions because you predetermined that which you would be on the Sabbath, and that remains an unalterable conviction. Very powerful. Having gone before and prepared the place, you have returned to John and are now taking him with you through the interval of 3 days into the prepared place, that he might share your joy with you. For where I am, there ye may be also. Man, what a great chapter. Oh my gosh, interval of time. Wow. We took so many trips during that chapter. I'm forgetting which day it is right now. Is it Sunday? I believe it feels like Sunday, but it's actually Saturday. Oh my gosh. Let me repeat the quote, opening quote. Interval of time. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, ye may be also. Ye may also be. I go to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I would have come and told you. But that where I go, ye may be also. Wow, what a chapter. That's a wonderful chapter. Oh my gosh. I don't know which one's my favorite. There's so many good ones. All right. Neville Goddard, your faith is your fortune. We'll see you in the next video.